Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maddie here, and today we're doing some more Master Ranked gameplay with what I believe is the best deck in the game right now, and that is Giratina and Darkrai. I think a lot of people are very, familiar with this deck list, and in my mind, it really has sort of risen as the #1 deck to be playing right now, at least in Master Ball rank, but also in tournaments. It's won back-to-back weeks. This is the list that I am playing. This is 2 copies of Mars, but everything else is pretty standard. Now, you can kind of really change around Giratina and Darkrai depending on, what other decks you might be going up against. And to be fair, when I built this deck list, it was originally because I was going up against so many Meowscarada and Magnezone decks, and Mars, of course, is really good in that matchup. However, that deck has become a lot less popular, and basically at this point, at this high in Master Ball, we're playing mostly Mirror Match or against Gyarados. However, I still like 2 copies of Mars. In fact, I kind of prefer to run the deck this way, even against really those only 2 matchups that you're probably going to go up against in Master Ball rank. So this is the deck list that I am playing, and again, it's been working out pretty well for me over the last few days. We are at 1,722 points and the rank of 2,246. My record here has fallen down to about 60%, and that's where it's kind of stayed, to be 100% honest with you. The win rate is really hard to get above or much higher than 60% here in Master Ball rank when you're playing against Gyarados in the mirror matches. There's a lot that's out of your control, to be 100% honest with you, but I think a lot is still in control, and I think some people were interested on how to play this deck list. So let's get right into it, guys, and we will play some games, and hopefully, it's probably going to be Gyarados in the mirror match, but maybe something else will pop up, but we'll have to see. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So, yeah, like I said, ranked battles right now in Master Ball rank are almost exclusively against the mirror match or against Gyarados, and for the most part, there's a lot of those matchups that are kind of out of your control, and you're definitely going to see that in this video, whether you're winning or losing. A lot of the things that happen, basically, you can kind of chalk up to bad luck, good luck, you kind of have to ride out that way, but right now, it does look like we're going up against Gyarados. We have Pokeball, Potion, which Potion's not useful against Gyarados, but we have Professor's Research, Giant Cape, and Pokeball. These are all things that actually could be fairly substantial. We are going first, which we don't necessarily love. I think against Gyarados, we definitely would rather go second, but it's totally okay. The Gyarados matchup really comes down to a couple of things. We have 2 copies of Mars, but it really comes down to, does our opponent have red? We're going to hopefully find 2 copies of Giant Cape here. There they are, which is definitely pretty good for us. So let's go ahead. We're going to play Pokeball first. No, we're going to play Research first. So 2 copies of Giant Cape is really useful against Gyarados, mainly for the reason that we're kind of forcing them to have red by the time, they're ready to attack. And that's really what it comes down to. So Gyarados is really good here in ranked battles. In fact, I would say it's probably like the best deck, if not the deck we're playing. And that's why you're going to see these 2 decks most prominently in ranked mode. Now, Rocky Helmet could be useful, but the thing is that a lot of times Gyarados is running Giant Cape now. So I don't feel super confident in I don't feel super confident in sort of the Rocky Helmet strategy. Most of the time, because we're playing 2 copies of Mars, I think our best strategy in this matchup is basically going double Giant Cape here, forcing our opponent to have Gyarados and Mars, and red, and then if he doesn't, then we can kind of just go attack, and then KO that Gyarados for game. That's really what the matchup comes down to. So we'll see. We have 2 copies of Mars in our deck, and our opponent has like 12 cards at this point. So very good starting hand from our opponent to go research into Pokeball. We'll see what he leads off with. That is Origin Form Palkia. Does he also have the Manaphy? That's sort of the #1 question for sure. But he doesn't, at least right now. 2 Magikarp and an Origin Form Palkia is still really scary, in fact. Especially if he flips a couple heads with Misties, this start is almost preferable for him. Because being as fast-paced as possible for Gyarados in this matchup is really what you want to do. So we'll see what our opponent does. We do have Cyrus. So basically, we're going to do a little bit of damage to the Magikarp, and then if it retreats, we can bring him back in with Cyrus, and that is definitely beneficial. Let's play the Pokeball, thin out our deck a little bit. What we really want here, truthfully, are things like Sabrina, things like Mars, maybe Red as well. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead, Nightmare Aura, the active Magikarp here, and we are going to attach this Rocky Helmet to this sort of secondary Giratina, which we're probably not going to use, but I have seen Gyarados running Mars now and then, so definitely important to note for sure. Now, our opponent could literally just evolve this Magikarp here, which, in fact, I would say it's actually likely, and then we're just hoping he doesn't flip heads on Misties, and that's sort of what it comes down to here. He's going to have a second Research. This man has 8 cards in his deck. We would love a Mars right now, but unfortunately, we just have not seen one yet. 9 cards in the deck. Pretty even on card advantage, but like I said, and there's the Manaphy. Okay, so this is actually really good. If he doesn't evolve Gyarados this turn, what we can do basically is Cyrus up this Magikarp and KO it with the Nightmare or Ping. If we don't see Gyarados or we don't see Giant Cape. Although I would say it's pretty likely that we see either of those two this turn, but you never know. 8 cards in deck, our opponent might be getting unlucky. Yeah, there's the Gyarados. He's actually going to evolve this Gyarados, which is probably fine, I would say. Probably the fine play for our opponent there. So he's like a turn behind, I think. So that other Darkrai could be really, really good. So Cyrus here is interesting, in fact. But I think what we want to do here is still KO this Magikarp preemptively, because if we KO this Magikarp, that means he's probably just going to go back into Manaphy, and then we can KO the Manaphy, and then if he's kind of just forced to go into Gyarados at that point, right? So Cyrus here, there's no reason to save it, I don't think. If I'm thinking like 2 or 3 turns ahead, I don't think there's really ever an outcome where not taking the KO on this Magikarp is the right decision. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're just going to Broken Space Bellow. Like I said, we're really hopeful that he doesn't have red. But again, you know, if we don't find Mars in the next couple of turns, then we're not in a really good position. And that's a little bit unfortunate. But this matchup's going to come down to whether he has red or not. It really does. What we could do technically is if we have Leaf, then we could go into Giratina and then wait for him to attack us. That's a possibility because we have Potion in hand. But I don't love that outcome, personally. I don't love that strategy. 8 cards in deck to 7 cards in deck. 2 Mars in the deck right now. I think we have red. We have a Research. We've got a Sabrina. And then we've got, what is it? Pokemon Center Lady and another Potion. So Potion and Pokemon Center Lady aren't the cards we want to see in our deck right now. What we really want to see is definitely things like Sabrina as we get Sabrina actually, which is kind of interesting for sure. Is there ever a reason to go into this Giratina? Not go into this Giratina, I should say. I don't think so. I think we kind of have to. And now we're kind of in that same position to where we don't really want to attack. Because if we attack here, we go down and then he can play red and KOs, right? So it's never really worth doing that. There's the Potion. That's one of the cards we didn't want. Okay. So I don't think we can attack here. But we can start setting up this other Giratina. Or we could set up the active Giratina. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? No. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this. We do have Sabrina in the deck. So if he decides to bring up Origin Form Palkia, we kind of just stall a little bit. And then hope that we draw Sabrina that we can KO and then Sabrina into Manaphy and then win that way. Killing that Magikarp probably was beneficial for us at some point. I don't know what he's looking for here. I think he's just thinning out some cards in his deck, which is the smart play. At this point, he's got 4 cards in hand and 5 cards in his thing. So Mars isn't going to be very useful preemptively. I mean, I guess technically it's going to reduce the odds of him having red in his hand, but if we don't attack, then we're not actually afraid of red. And he already played Sabrina, so he's going to be in, yeah, okay, so he's going to be in the position here. Okay, so he is going to attack this turn, which is definitely smart from our opponent. I would say, but we have double Potion. So unless he goes double head flips on Origin Form Palkia, we're going to be safe for a couple turns, which gives us a chance to draw into Sabrina. So that's Tails, and that's all we needed was 1 Tails here, I think. And then with 7 cards in deck, we have Research, we have red, we've got some stuff going on. None of it's super great stuff. There's the Mars. Okay, we are actually just going to stall out for another turn, which doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. Well, in fact, can we do that though? Because he could just go into Gyarados, right? Which isn't great. It's really not. No, because if he goes into Gyarados and he KOs, but he probably has 2 Irida as well. Do we really think that he's going to manually retreat going to Gyarados? Do we think that he'll do that? I mean, he could do that. We have 6 cards in deck. Like, if we had Sabrina, then we could be playing this game totally differently right now. We also have Pokemon Center Lady. 5 cards in his deck. If he has red, then it's just not good for us, right? Because he can retreat, red, KO. And then we're in a tough spot. I think we do that. I think we have to. I think if we attack here, we're just dead in the water. Actually, if we can't attack anyway because we attach, but I still don't think attacking is the right play because yes, we KO, but then he KOs us and he KOs us without the use of red, and then he can just KO Darkrai with red. So I don't think we can ever do that. I don't think that's ever a play that we can do. I'm gonna Broken Space Bellow the active though. Could be a misplay, but I don't think it actually matters, to be honest with you. It really doesn't. So here we go. If he has red, we're probably gonna see him retreat into Gyarados. play red, KO. But then what we can do is we can go into Darkrai, attack him, and then he's only going to have 1 energy on the Origin Form Palkia, right? So, as long as we draw into Sabrina, I think there's a chance, quite frankly. But the problem with Darkrai is that, like, even with red, I don't think 2 attacks from Darkrai is enough to KO Gyarados, even with Irida, right? Because that's 220, and he can effectively have 230 with Irida, which is bad. So if he attacks with Origin Form Palkia here, that's like the most beneficial scenario for us, ironically. Yeah, okay, so he's going to go into Gyarados here. We don't love it whatsoever. He's actually going to Kate the Gyarados, which we really don't like. Because if he plays red here, then we effectively just lose, I think. Technically not. Like, technically not. What we can do is go into this Giratina with Rocky Helmet, live an attack, retreat, and then go into Darkrai, and then potentially have a chance. It's not a great chance, and it doesn't feel very good. Yeah, that was, I mean, you know, we could have played Mars there, but he had 3 cards in hand, so it's like, you know, Mars wasn't benefiting us at all, and there's the red, which is pretty funny. So yeah, what we have to do now is basically, because he doesn't have any more Sabrina, so we're gonna just do this whole thing here where we're gonna Broken Space Bella. Maybe he has 2 red. That would be pretty funny, wouldn't it? But we have Rocky Helmet here, but he's got Irida, right? So he's gonna play Irida, he's gonna attack us. All of the stuff that we didn't really want to have happen, but this at least buys us an additional turn to potentially get the damage that we need off on the Gyarados this turn, right? Because he could go Irida, but even if he does, it doesn't matter, because Rocky Helmet here could be the difference, but we'll see. He could also just go into Origin Form Palkia. But we should have Sabrina, right? So if that's the case, then... Oh, this Misty Flip. If he flips his heads here, yeah, that's super bad for us. That's bad, because he'll probably retreat here, right? Maybe not. But that's still very bad for us for him to get that extra energy on Origin Form Palkia, I think. So he's going to take a little bit of damage here. 1 card in hand, and I'm assuming he's got at least 1 Irida like going on, right? So there's the Sabrina. But truthfully, wait, do we not have... Oh, man, we have Leaf in our deck still. That's not great, but I guess it's not terrible. So we have to retreat. And then we have to go into this Darkrai. We're playing to our outs here, but I'm pretty sure we're cooked. I don't think there's really any scenario here where we can win. We could play the Sabrina now. But if we play the Sabrina now, we don't KO, right? So I don't think there's really anything for us that we can possibly do here. So we're going to go ahead and play red. I'm pretty sure because he's got Origin Form Palkia, and he had red that turn, that he wins. I don't think there's a route for us here, because if he didn't have red, then we wouldn't have gotten KO'd. We're going to do some damage here, but what he's going to do here probably is just retreat. He's going to attach active, retreat into Origin Form Palkia, and then he's still going to have enough energies available to him. Because he flipped that heads with Misties, he's going to have basically an extra turn or an extra energy on his Gyarados, which is going to buy him an extra turn to win the game. So I'm pretty sure that Misty Flip won him the game there, unless he has like something like a second red or a second Sabrina. Here comes the Irida, right? He's going to go up to 100, and he's going to retreat, go down to 1 energy, but then he's going to attach to Gyarados, attack with the Origin Form Palkia, and then we lose because he has that extra energy, basically, right? Because next turn, we can KO this turn, but the next turn he attacks, right? And that's just how it goes, and he can Irida twice. So, although we have Sabrina, so technically, is it possible? No, because we can't even KO this thing, which is super funny, right? I guess maybe what we could do is Sabrina this turn. But if we Sabrina this turn, we could... Wait a minute. So if we attach to this Darkrai, right? Because we're not KOing Origin Form Palkia this turn. So if we do this, we do this and this. If Irida is the last card in his deck, I think we have a chance. But if it's not, we don't have a chance because we can't KO this Origin Form Palkia, right? So what we have to do here is Sabrina, bring up the mana feed. So if he has 2 Irida, we lose. Is basically how this is going to go here. I don't think there's really any other way to win at this point. We have to play Sabrina. We're going to KO one of these mana fees, and then next turn he can't attack with Gyarados, and So basically, that's kind of what it comes down to, is if he has Irida, then we lose. But if not, then we don't lose. That's the game here. Yeah, so he's going to go into Manaphy. We're just going to KO here. And now we're safe from getting KO'd next turn. But if he has Irida, then we lose. That's it. That's our out. That's our win condition. He's got 2 cards in deck, so I mean, we're playing to our outs here, technically. So we'll see here. I don't know if he plays 2 Irida. Maybe he only plays 1. I guess that's technically a possibility, but it's not a really great possibility. Let's see here. It came down to the wire, but again, there's really nothing we could do here because he had red that turn. So we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens here. Again, to be fair, it's out of our hands at this point. We've played everything. We've done everything we can possibly do. So if our opponent has it, he has it. If he doesn't, he doesn't, and it's GG. You know, it's GG either way. So this is, you know, I mean, you know, like certain plays could have happened to change the. He doesn't have second Irida. He doesn't have another Irida. Okay, so listen, that's what playing to your outs is like. You know what I mean? That's crazy that he didn't have a second Irida because that was the difference there. Interesting game. A very, very interesting game against Gyarados. Comes down to the wire. Mars didn't end up helping really at all, but, you know, you play to your outs, guys. Like, that's what you do, right? Is you play all of the cards that you have available to you and hope that things work out in your favor. That game, they did. I don't even think I remember to thank my opponent, which is tough. I feel bad, but yeah. So that's an interesting game for sure. Maybe you guys will enjoy that one. I don't know. Comment below about that game. We'll have to see. Mars didn't put in any work at all, but the no Irida there and the double giant cape was definitely advantageous. So this is the mirror match. Confident in saying it. We are going to be going second, so hopefully we have Giratina. If not, then we're going to be a turn behind. So now we have to shift our focus into the mirror matchup after the Gyarados matchup. And the mirror matchup's very interesting because if similar to Gyarados, it really depends on who has like sort of the better lead off, right? So he just played Pokeball and oh, now he's going to play Pokecom. Okay. So crazy to see Pokemon communications actually in the Giratina Darkrai. But crazy that even had both of those cards actually. So that's going to guarantee. Wait, what? What just happened? I have no idea what just happened there. How did he not get Giratina if he had? I'm at a loss for words. I have no idea what just happened. Because he should have been guaranteed Giratina there, no? Wouldn't he have been guaranteed to get Giratina that turn if he played Pokeball? And then we also don't have Giratina, so okay, tough. We do have another. We got some stuff in our hand. But yeah, anyway, the mirror matchup really comes down to like who's ahead on like the Giratina business because like if you're behind a turn or two on Giratina and you just don't have one set up, then you're just in a really, really bad spot. I think he top decked a second Pokeball there, which definitely gives him Giratina, which means that he should be in a position basically to oh, he's not playing Giratina, he's playing okay. All right, that explains a lot to me. I was not expecting to see the coughing out here. You know, I'll be entirely honest. I was fully prepared for the mirror match, but I believe this is going to be the there's Giratina. I believe this is going to be the we always giant cape, I think. This is going to be the Darkrai, Weezing, and Magnezone deck, I believe. Sometimes they play Magnezone, sometimes not. Anyway, interesting matchup here for sure. I don't play this deck a lot. I don't remember ever losing to this deck, but you know, there's always a first. Let's be real. There's always a first. So let's see how this one rides out here. I feel okay with Sabrina in our hand personally. Maybe not so much now, but we do have Cyrus still. He's gonna Sabrina us, which is funny. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what's going on at this point. We're kind of floating in nowhere space. I've been so prepared for the mirror matchup in Gyarados that playing something else is a little bit like, it's kind of a culture shock in a little bit here. So he's going to go into Weezing. Does he retreat? That would be a crazy play if we saw the retreat, wouldn't it? If he doesn't, is Dark... All right. That's tough. Very tough from our opponent there. He might concede off the rip. That's tough. Okay, so very unfortunate. We had Leaf in hand, and we were a turn ahead there. So, okay. That's, I think, a free dub. I don't think our opponent can recover from this, quite frankly, but... yeah, so I don't really have much to say about any of this, to be honest. We're going to potion the active for sure. Yeah, man, I just don't really know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I also kind of feel bad from our opponent here. He might have just left. He might have just exited his game here. This is a stark contrast from the Gyarados game that we just played, that's for sure. But I have seen this deck on the ladder. I just don't know much about it. Like, I've seen it a couple times, but I also don't remember, like, how the matchup is. So, unfortunate from our opponent there. We got a little bit lucky, of course. We take free wins. We always take the free wins. Always. And we don't feel bad about it either. So, we're climbing here. 2-0. That Gyarados game probably defines the video, to be fair. But I would like a good mirror match, even if we lose it. Let's play one more game, guys. And let's see what we can do. We're at 1,866 ranking, which is kind of crazy. I haven't played very many games, so I don't really expect to ever get like in the top 1,000 or anything like that. I really wasn't planning to, but you know, I still enjoy playing Master Ball, and I gotta make content, of course, right? So, all right, let's see what this game is, and we'll see if this is the mirror match or if it's Gyarados again or something different. I guess it could be something different, but I would like to see a mirror match up here. Metal, okay, so this is interesting. This is going to be the Skarmory Magnezone deck, which is a very, very interesting matchup. In fact, it's a matchup that I don't love. In fact, I kind of feel like this deck does well against us. The Magnemite I'm not afraid of, but in general, I think this deck, honestly, double Pokeball, double Research is a crazy, crazy starting hand, I'm not going to lie, with Mars as well. So I feel pretty good, but you never know, to be honest with you. This deck is actually really good. Of course, it has a really good Gyarados matchup, right? This is Skarmory Magnezone. Very aggressive, very fast pace. It does have its consistency issues, truthfully. There are scenarios where I feel like the deck just doesn't draw well enough to justify having that great matchup against Gyarados. But again, I say that, but we might just get absolutely steamrolled. Do we attach Giant Cape to the active? I think we wait. We're going to wait on that because it might be better to attach Rocky Helmet at some point. We'll have to see. Red in our hand is useless, I don't think. If this is, yeah, this is Skarmory Magnezone. So red's not going to be useful at all. Mars could be really useful for sure. He's going to attach to the active, and he does go Rocky Helmet Skarmory. Okay. So shout out to our opponent here. These are good plays. He is going to go ahead and just ram us. That's, I mean, what else is he going to do, right? Pokemon Center Lady, I don't mind. I am actually going to go ahead, since we drew into PCL there, I am going to keep the active because I feel confident in living like an extra turn against the Skarmory. So. Especially since he didn't attack us turn 1. So we're going to go ahead and play the Research here. Another Giant Cape and a Potion as well. Okay, so this is all good stuff. We're going to keep the Giratina as well. Against Magnezone, Giant Cape is good, I think. It's oftentimes pretty useful. And now we're just doing typical Darkrai Giratina stuff. We're not venturing very far from the normal here. We're very much sort of just doing what we like to do with Giratina and Darkrai. I was hoping to do the mirror matchup. I really was. Maybe we'll play one more game after this. Maybe one more game. We'll see. He's got to go into Skarmory here for sure. That's a given. We did tag some damage on this Magnezone, which is good because it's going to be at 120 HP, which does put it in range of Giratina whenever we go ahead and we do that. So we're minus 60 HP at 100, but we can heal for 50 right here. And we draw into the Leaf, which I actually don't mind. But we're going to go full HP. Actually, it's not worth it to do full HP yet on Darkrai because this potion's not actually going to matter at all. So let's hold the potion because it might be more useful later on. At this point, it's just not useful at all. So we're going to go ahead and Broken Space Bellow because if he goes Magnezone next turn, we're living. But if he goes Skarmory into Magnezone, we're losing even if we play the potion, right? So no use to play that potion this turn. And I honestly feel pretty comfortable because we have some damage out on this Magnezone already. I feel pretty safe just KOing with Darkrai. And then next turn, we can just KO Magnezone with Giratina. That's how I feel about the situation currently. He's going to Research, so if he doesn't find like another basic, or if he doesn't put a lot of Pokemon down from this hand, we can Mars him next turn, which could feel pretty good. We'll see. It'd be unlikely for him not to have like Potion or Basic or Magnezone here. So, I mean, if he does somehow have all of those cards that aren't those cards, then we can Mars, and that'll be pretty good, I think. Yeah, okay. All right, so we can Mars next turn. I think that's beneficial for sure. Rocky Helmet's crazy. Let's just put on this Giratina. I think we always attach KO and then we... Oh, our both good concede. Okay, you know what? A couple of steam rolls, right? I mean, the last two games weren't really close. Again, that Gyarados game hopefully was sort of the carrying aspect of this video that maybe you guys found interesting. But let me play one more game. Again, we don't do a lot of editing. We don't kind of, doctor, our videos or our matchups really at all. We're at 1700 now. Let's go ahead and let's play one more game. And hopefully it's like a mirror match. Win or lose, I hope it's the mirror match so we can kind of see. To be honest with you, the mirror match is actually very similar. It's actually very similar to the Gyarados matchup, or things are kind of most of the time out of your hand, if we're being honest with you here. Or maybe it's, you know, Meowscarada and Magnezone. No, it's Gyarados again. Okay, cool. Let's play Gyarados again. I'll just gonna tell you right now, it's probably not going to go the way that it did before. Although we do have Sabrina, so I guess that's something. Let's see what our opponent starts off with here. Let's see what goes on. The research comes down, turn 1 research. Gyarados always flying through their deck for no reason. There's the Pokeball. Let's hope that's a Magikarp, right? In fact, we kind of want it to be Magikarp, actually, which is funny. Does he have another basic? Hopefully not. He does. Okay. I hate that. I hate that they always get, like, they're never just 2 Pokemon, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many scenarios where you're like, oh, like, yeah, like, this will be good, right? They'll only have 1 Pokemon, I can Sabrina, and then they just bench a second Pokemon, and you're like, all right, never mind. But anyway, we're just gonna ride out here. No reason to do anything other than play that research, attach to the Darkrai, and then set up this Giratina. So similar to the last Gyarados matchup, very reliant on us, you know, maybe sticking a Mars or 2. You know, maybe an early Sabrina could be helpful in this scenario, probably not. But also not having our opponent flip heads on Misties would be, of course, very beneficial for us here. That's a Tails. We love to see that. And then getting Giant Capes. Giant Capes are going to be massive in this matchup. Incredibly important here. And he's got the turn 2 Gyarados. And yeah, so he's got the full kind of setup going right now. There's not a lot that we can do other than hope that we draw into our Giant Capes and our opponent doesn't draw into potions. That's really it. I mean, if we're being honest with you. There's another Pokeball. Not helpful, really, for us at all. And because he benched a second Manaphy, like, Sabrina really isn't helpful, which is so bad. And it feels quite bad for us, for sure. But, you know, we get 1 more turn at least to maybe draw into a Giant Cape. So, you know, silver lining. What we can also do, actually, is if he doesn't bench a 3rd Pokemon, what we can do here is, or play Irida. That's a tall ask. But if that happens, then we can KO here, then play Sabrina, and then manually attack onto the Gyarados. Could be really good for us. But I think the likelihood of him not having another basic Pokemon and not having Irida in this 4-card hand is pretty slim. We could have played Mars, but it wouldn't have changed anything. The Misty, so no Irida. If this comes up Tails, that's just big. Okay, so what seemed like not great, I think, actually gives us maybe... Okay, all right. You know, I stand corrected, but it's actually still not bad. It's actually pretty bad still. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, the double Manaphy really does make things tricky for us, unfortunately. Because, like, yeah, we need Giant Cape. I guess we just don't have Giant Cape. So no Giant Cape is bad. No matter how you slice it here. I suppose what we can do is just go into Giratina. Like, all right. So I guess what we can do here. Does Cyrus ever help us? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna KO the Manaphy. This is all really tall asks here. Like this is a massive stretch basically, but we're gonna retreat into Giratina. We're gonna attach, but I think being behind on the energies here just means that we lose. I think it just means that we're not gonna win. Quite frankly. No Giant Cape is really bad. And even if he doesn't have red in hand, we're just a turn behind. So there's just nothing that can really go on here. I guess, yeah, we have to do this. I guess maybe what we should have done is probably gone into this Giratina and just sacked it. Maybe that would have been better. I guess we still can do that. But we don't have Leaf, which is bad. And he's going to go right into Gyarados, which means he's got red. No, but he's got Giant Cape. Maybe he's got Cape and red, and then we definitely lose this game. Maybe that's how that goes. Let's see here. Yeah, he's got the red, of course. So Giant Cape red is definitely like GG. There's no Giant Capes either. Like, there's no coming back from it. Like, even if we had Giant Cape, even just one, and we could have put it on that Giratina, then we wouldn't have got KO'd that turn, and maybe we would have had a chance, but there's never a scenario here where we win, I don't think. I just don't see it happening at all. I guess we'll play to our outs. We'll just continue to roll here. Yeah, so I mean, I guess, no, it's not it. There's nothing that feels good about what's happening here, because he definitely has Irida as well, right, and all that stuff. Sabrina, I guess, could be something, but it's just not. Like, Sabrina's not going to do anything for us. We could play a couple Mars here, which I guess why not. But the reality is here that he's just going to attack Giratina. And yeah, okay, so red Giant Cape, I think, locked us out of the game. I'm trying to think of maybe some routes in which we could win here, but turn 3 Gyarados with Giant Cape with red is a no-go. It's just a lose-lose, no matter what. No matter how you slice it, I think. Especially since it was Giratina. Like, we can't take a hit and then go into the next Giratina and then try to string together some shenanigans. Like, it just doesn't work like that. If he discards energy from himself, which he does, actually, then we can technically Sabrina here, which is hilarious. So let's do this. He technically, him benching this Origin Form Palkia actually opened up an avenue for us, which is absolutely hilarious to think about. So we'll see. We'll see here. We're gonna keep playing here. Okay, so there's Palkia. He can't attack with Palkia unless he's got Misty, right? So what we have to do, unironically here, is basically Cape Darkrai. And I think we just... He can't, right? He can't attack next turn. Unless he Misties. But he's already Mistied twice. So he can't retreat and do all that shenanigans. So let's Potion here, preemptively, in case we need to attack. Drawing into a Leaf here would be super nice, I think, actually. But I think we have to attach to Darkrai. And then we have to Broken Space Bellow. This is cursed. This is super cursed. But technically speaking, guys, there is a chance here because we do have another Giant Cape. So we need Leaf and Giant Cape, I think. And a bunch of other things to go our way here. He also probably has Sabrina. Ooh, the Rocky Helmet is super bad. That Rocky Helmet, I think, sealed the deal here. I don't think that there's anything we could have done at this point now. That's bad. Okay, so the Rocky Helmet definitely, I think, changes things because we can't win. We can't win now with the Rocky Helmet, which feels bad for sure. Okay, I mean, technically we could, but it's definitely not. Wait, do we have our Rocky Helmet? We don't. If we had our Rocky Helmet, then we also technically had a chance, which is pretty funny. But anyway, okay. We're going to play to our outs here, but the outs are non-existent. So Rocky Helmet sealed the deal there for our opponent there. 6 cards in deck. He did draw that Rocky Helmet. He had the red in hand. So he's flying through. He's got everything he needs here. He's going to attack here. Even if it's 60 damage, we can't survive here because we can only heal for a little bit more than that. So yeah, the Rocky Helmet's bad. It just is. Like, if without Rocky Helmet, we could have KO'd with Darkrai and then technically had a chance still, right? But we've used both Sabrina and Cyrus, so it's just not it. I don't think we have a route here. I guess we'll play it out, but there's no route whatsoever here. I'm pretty certain of that. I'm pretty certain we don't have a route. Yeah, it would have been funny, actually. Like, technically speaking, you know, if he didn't have Rocky Helmet, we could have won. It just would have been very unlikely. So anyway, there it is. There's I think a great scenario where this Gyarados matchup just is actually just not winnable at all. If we drew a Giant Cape earlier, if we could have got it onto the Giratina, lived an attack from the Gyarados, gone into Darkrai, attacked, and then even gotten KO'd, then we still would have had a chance. But I just, because he had the red that turn and we didn't have Giant Cape, then we were just, there wasn't a chance, unfortunately. And then further later on, when he benched the Origin Form Palkia, he did open up, I think, technically an avenue for us to win, but then the Rocky Helmet closed that door once again on us. So a bit unfortunate. So 50-50 against Gyarados in this video. And then we beat, I think, a couple of decks that just weren't really meta. I don't really have time. I don't want this video to go too long, so I do want a mirror matchup, but I can't. This video is going to go too long, and the mirror matchup is going to go long for sure. So that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be the video. I wanted to have the mirror matchup, but believe me, the mirror matchup is very much also similar to Gyarados, where it really kind of comes down to who gets the better, cards available to them. And then, you want to lead with Darkrai, not Giratina. You want red. You want some potions to nullify the Darkrai damage. You want to get the first KO. You want to have Giratina as your second KO option. So that's really how that matchup goes. Unfortunately, we couldn't showcase it for you guys in this video. But anyway, that is my video on Giratina and Darkrai. This is my deck list. This is what I'm playing. And it's working out pretty well for me in this video. Of course, it went somewhat well, but I mean, the Gyarados stuff is always a little bit crazy. But that first game was definitely pretty fun and entertaining. So anyway, guys, peace out. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And then, of course, we might live stream this weekend. We might not, but stay tuned because the next set release we'll announce soon. And then, of course, we want to stay up to date on all of that new meta stuff, all of the new cards. It's going to be really, really fun and interesting. And I think we've got about 10 days until the ranked season resets. So good luck in your Master Ball grind. Hopefully this video was informative for you guys or entertaining. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. Peace out. Have a good one. See you guys later. And yeah, bye.